cross an invisible line when you pick up an instrument for the first time. To go from listener to practitioner with no trade backs. Of course, you're still a listener, but you listen in a different way now. Every lick or drum fill you start to feel in your hands and in your spine while your mind is envisioning yourself playing those notes or laying that beat down. Maybe even cutting up some vinyl on the turntables. Whatever your weapon of choice happens to be at that moment. Because learning one instrument can easily lead to picking up multiple instruments. And with every understanding of each instrument's nuances comes richer, more complete appreciation of how other instruments work together. And a lot of times what you find is less is more. How easy it is for one sound to overpower the others. So when each instrument is doing just enough to serve the other, and each sound is complementary to the landscape, what a true thing of beauty is achieved. That's not to say you ever have to pick up any type of musical instruments with any kind of serious intent to be a lover of sound. Like I said before, my take is just my take. So if you never cross that invisible line and choose listening only, shit, that's cool too. Deja vu like a motherfucker. Hello and welcome to another edition of The Record Shop. I'm Keith Maki, and as always, I try to bring you a high-grade pharmaceutical audio experience. So without further ado, let's get into it. After last year's onstage dust-up and following legal action, the members of Jane's Addiction have decided to officially part ways, dismissing all lawsuits. This not being the first breakup or even the first onstage physical altercation for the band leaves fans with some kind of hope, actually. And time tends to heal a lot of wounds, maybe not all of them, but fingers crossed, maybe they can work it out one more time. And before this last breakup, they ironically released a couple of tracks called True Love and The Imminent Redemption. Since then, the three remaining members, being Dave Navarro, Eric Avery, and Stephen Perkins, have shared small clips and new instrumental tracks on their Instagram page. Hopefully that turns into something a little more substantial that we can hear, eventually in the future in full. Because from what I heard so far, definitely sounds like some rock and roll candy to me. Perry Farrell has since focused on another project, which is something you may have heard of, called the Lollapalooza Festival. And recently has released his first post-Jane's Addiction music, lending vocals to a track called Joya with the UK house and techno DJ Carl Cox. And then also taking part in the 60th anniversary tribute concert for The Doors, singing a couple of Doors classics alongside Robbie Krieger as well as some other musicians. You can catch some of the video of those performances on the YouTube channel of, I don't know, but it's up there. And for supporters of the fight against Foo, Dave Grohl and the boys are coming back on April 24th with the new album called Your Favorite Toy. And the first single, which is the title track, has dropped already. And it's a groovy kind of rocker with Dr. G laying down some distorted vocals with some clever lyrics. While for the first time on record, the new drummer, Ilan Rubin, lays down the beat. And I think he's going to do pretty good on this record, and a great job when they hit the road this year, crisscrossing the globe like the Foo Fighters do. And one of the stops will be the Bourbon and Beyond Festival happening in Louisville, Kentucky in late September. So it's a little bit of a piece of ways, but opening for the band, or in this case, I'd like to say co-headlining for this band, is my favorite all-time group, the Queens of the Stone Age, as well as a couple other heavy hitters like Joan Jett and Gary Clark Jr. So that could be a fun one. And be sure to join me and my partner Scott Powers every Friday night at 11 o'clock for Powers Point After Dark. That is 11 o'clock Central Time, 2300 Military Time, and 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time, where we like to chop it up with our 2300 Society And you never know what we're going to get into and what we're going to talk about. So come on and join us. Maybe call in, maybe just listen, whatever you choose. It's all going to be a good time. And that's not all. Be sure to check out our flagship show, the Powers Point Podcast, with my good buddy Scott Powers, as he lets you know the ins and outs of what's going on with him. And for you fist pumpers, be sure to check out every Saturday night, or I think it's every Saturday night, Static Temptations, a rave experience that Mr. Powers puts on. All music, all fun, all pumping. So dig that one. And you will find that at Powers Point Podcast at podbean.com. For fans of Seattle Pioneers and my mom's all-time favorite band, Heart, Nancy Wilson stated that they're planning on what they call a victory lap, and included in that is a final studio album and a 50th anniversary documentary spanning their entire career, starting with the awesome Dreamboat Annie album, which is what I believe is by far their best lineup of players, including Michael DeRosa, and a few other motherfuckers, including, what the fuck were their names? Including Roger Fisher, Michael DeRosa, as well as Ann and Nancy Wilson themselves. That album also marks its 50th year anniversary with the latest studio album from Heart coming in 2016. It should be interesting to hear what this latest lineup will offer for their final album. The band consisting mostly of members of Ann Wilson's solo band Trip Sitter, who have a few, decent records themselves, so let's see how deep that goes. And for the freaky naughty, be sure to check out Third Floor Assessments with my buddies Dave and Dakota T-Bout, the Michigan Misfits, where they give you some interesting takes and some interesting views on the world of movies, music, and whatever it is they happen to be, talking about at the time. And they're always fun, and they always have some fun shit to say about me. And, that's why I like being their good buddy Jeff. Love you, boys. Keeping with the theme of stuff I grew up with, Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top celebrated his 76th birthday this past December and is showing no signs of slowing down, heading out on tour this year with the solo band and with ZZ Top. Now, talk about putting your work in. Having promised loads of surprises with his solo tour, I don't know if anyone attending this concert should actually expect that. Despite having 3 decent solo albums with a solo band, goes by the name the BFGs. I caught a glimpse of what the set list is, and it was 90% ZZ Top songs, with some blues standards and a little Jimi Hendrix in there for good measure. So if your concern would be that he's going to play a bunch of unfamiliar cuts that you don't know, I think you're good. And if you were hoping that he runs through the hits and gives you a nice rush of nostalgia, I believe you're in luck. So that should be a good warm-up for the ZZ Top Tour, where returning will be Elwood Francis, the bass player who was handpicked by the late Dusty Hill to replace him, will return on the bass duty, so that might be one to see while you still have the chance to check him out. And you can also check out the latest song from Billy Gibbons, which is a track called Living It Up Down Texas, and that's on the Billy Bob Thornton series Landman soundtrack, which you find on Paramount, and the song you will find basically anywhere you find music. And as I said at the top of the show, if you do choose to pick up a musical instrument, best of luck to you. It's a relaxing hobby for the most part, and it's good for your brain. And I say the most part because sometimes if you've seen the movie Spinal Tap, where Dave St. Hubbins can't get his guitar solo right and he ends up screaming and freaking out, that shit can happen too. But that tends to only happen when you're at a higher level where you expect a little more out of yourself. So if you just want a hobby or you want to take over the world, I encourage you, please do it. Please do it and have fun. I love the thought of possibly you listening to me right now and then me listening to you later because you chose to pick up an instrument, maybe due to my encouragement or maybe because you had planned on doing it anyways. And with that concludes another episode of The Record Shop. I am Keith Maki, and join me next time where we try and bring you some high-grade pharmaceutical audio, something good for your soul, and be sure to check me and my partner Scott Powers out every Friday night on fucking Powers Point After Dark at 11 o'clock Central Time, 2300 Military Time, and 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time if you're in the area that I'm in. So until then, dig it.